Now we're recording. So like I was saying, that whole concept of having a set schedule and a set of routines of what you guys do in the group of when you come into your office or when you set up your laptop, what are the procedures you're going to follow? What are the tasks you're responsible for as a job, as an employee of yourself? Because the thing about being self-employed and the thing about being your own boss is you have to be self-critical. You have to be self-critiquing and self-adjusting, so self-correcting, if you will. And that's all on you. No one's going to tell you that except for your emptying bank account and all of your many, many emotions. So make sure you guys create a list of, okay, this is what I'm going to do if I'm using the Stairmaster. I'm looking for these setups. You know, I'm going to get a drink of water. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to put on my favorite music or maybe an audiobook or maybe Bloomberg, and I'm going to check the news. I'm going to drag and drop each pair on the 4-hour chart. If it looks good, I'll check to the 1-hour chart and see if I want to take this trade as a swing trade or how I want to take it. I'll take notes on what I do. And then, of course, I need to file a report against myself every week, like a performance review, if you will. And if we treat this like it's a real thing and not just a hobby, your results will go from, let's say some of you guys are averaging 70, 80%. That will be, I'm all about like the little things you can do to increase your percentages, because that's at the end of the day, like that's all we can do is just kind of tweak our results to increase our accuracy percentage, increase our productivity, our time on task. This way we're more productive with less time and we make more money. So Dorian, if you can post that in the group, that would be fantastic. I think that would be super beneficial. The next thing, a gentleman actually messaged me. He's a part of the group. He hasn't been too verbal lately, but he was saying that maybe we should talk about how if you're in your head or in your feels or in your emotions, maybe you should stay off the charts. So I, especially being a female, we all have those days where just we're in a funk, and some of us have them more often than others. I'm super blessed because I kind of choose that whole flowers and happiness kind of side of life in general most of the time. But if you're in not a good headspace, you should not be on the charts, because your emotional sanity, if you will, is not where it should be to be trading and investing your future and your children's future and your lives. So that was just another point that somebody had wanted me to touch on. So that's kind of, there's not a whole bunch you can say on that other than, again, self-accountability. If you know you're not in a good headspace, maybe you should not be trading. You're not going to miss out on the $1 million by taking a day off of work, going to the lake, go on a paddleboard, you know, go do something else. Be productive and or just take a day to not look at charts, not read chats, because at the end of the day, we have to have our eyes readjust, our emotions in a good spot. And then this is a very psychological industry. As Pat would say, it's emotionally abusive. So we look at these charts, everything looks so fresh and clean when we scroll back. But while we're in it, of course, we can't see it. Hindsight's 20/20, so we get it all in our head. We don't know what we're thinking or feeling. And that's not a good time to be looking for a trade. So if that's where you're at mentally, take the day off. So those were some things that other people had mentioned I should maybe mention. Let's see, somebody had talked about what gold did. And I will do that. Hey, Kat, thank you for that news PDF. You guys see what happened today with the Fed interest rate decision? The US dollar sneezed and everybody else caught a cold, as somebody said. I laughed at that so loud. I'm such a dork. That was hilarious to me, because when that happens, everyone was trying to catch the pullback. But on the weekly time frame, on the daily time frame, this is a buyer's market. I mean, this probably just came up. However, let's scroll back. This was a buying market, and it's going to stay a buying market. So we officially made a higher high on the weekly time frame. So we broke out of this zone, the most recent zone. See this support? We broke out of this zone and all these little ones. We even broke out of the one from May. So we officially are making massively higher highs. Of course, we can expect a pullback and gold pulls back hard, but anybody who's expecting this to all of a sudden drop is looking at the wrong thing, because this is a buying market. And that's the power of the news. This was enough to blow a lot of people's accounts. Fortunately, we work with a group of people who are getting smart enough not to be trading the news. But even on the higher time frame, guys, this is a huge uptrend. huge. And we can thank our president. We can thank whatever we want to thank. We broke below it for a little while. I mean, we can draw, depending on what hourly time frames we want to use. No matter what we're looking at, this is a buying market. And we are officially just broke highs. So if anybody's looking for a pullback, you might find a pullback, but don't go looking for massive drops because it's not coming. It'll fake you out. Will definitely fake you out. So now that we've officially broken past those highs, in this one, we'd be looking for our next high, so it could come all the way up to, well, I guess we'll see. This is strong resistance area for years. This is 2014. We shall see what price does. Let me see. We broke past 2016. This is their high, and we just broke past the highest high for 2016. Do you guys see that? If this was the high in 2016, and it was even the high all the way since 2014, we are officially in a massive bullish market. Just so you guys see what I see on this chart. That is crazy. Something to keep in mind. Thank you. Yes, Kat, thank you. I appreciate you. All right, does anybody have any pairs or questions you guys want to look over or discuss?
Yes. Hi, Jenny.
Hey, Mike, right?
Yes.
I recognized your voice. How's it going?
It's going great. Going great. Just jumped out of the GBP, what was it? GBP NZD. Based on the pullback. I was going to maybe wait a little later. Yeah, I thought I heard you say that you was watching that pair as well.
GBP NZD, yeah. So I would love to go over this pair because it's one that I'm actively in.
Great. Well, that's my request.
There we go. See, small favors. Everything kind of works out. Let's see. So I'm going to zoom out, make it really visible for you guys. Obviously, we know GBP has some massive news. I got in for the buy over here. I took profit. I got in for the buy again. I made a fortune. I did break my own rules. I took another buy because it broke a high. We're on the 4-hour chart. Let's see. I got stopped out with one of my trailing stops, so I took another buy somewhere in around here, and I did not close it. So I didn't protect it. I was in some meetings and dealing with real estate agents on rental properties and roofs. So having said that, I did not manage it the way I usually do, and now we are officially, we have a crossover, the 8 and 18, which you guys know I use pretty heavily. We broke below the 50. I'm guessing. Now, this is all speculation because we can't, technical analysis is a beautiful thing up until you have news. All of this news can just tell all of that none of it matters. So to predict what this is going to do, we really can't. Let's put this on here too. This is a currency relative strength indicator. There's quite a few of them. I've got, I don't know, 90% of them. I even have the paid for version of currency heat wave. But at the end of the day, most of them are relatively variable. This one I like because I like the way it's set up. I wish it back tested better, but I like it in general. So our GBP USD on the 15-minute time frame, GBP is kind of made a pullback, but it looks like it's going to get weaker again. So this is saying that NZD is stronger by far and GBP is weaker. And this is real time, so I'll make this a little bit bigger. And this is free, guys, in the Play Store. So this one, it's this one. You have to search in currency relative strength, and this is what I can show you which one it is. But this is one of my favorite ones. It just really helps in terms of understanding what the pairs are doing. Okay, so are you trying to buy it, or did you already close it? You closed it?
Well, I was going to sell and closed it because it pulled back. And my plan is to get back in on a sell later.
After this big news. Well, this one is the This one is just the BOE-MPC meeting minute. And this one is the interest rate. Which one is what? Wait a minute, is the interest rate not on here? Or, oh, it's at the same time. So it's this one. If it'll let me do it. That's in 577 minutes. Let's find out. How far away is this? Do you guys know? 577 minutes. Are you going to wait till after this news to take it?
Yes.
7 hours.
Yeah, a lot can happen in 7 hours.
A long time.
Here's what I see. So we were going up, and this is the flip-flop method, but we were uptrending. We broke it, and again, we didn't just maybe baby break it. We broke it, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is super simple if we just learn to teach our eyes that. We fully broke it. We came back up and retested. This is a momentum break. This isn't like a maybe baby kind of break. That's over here. This is a real deal. It could, again, because of the news, but we came back up and tested the 50% of that engulfing candle. And then even in its own right, we have another engulfing candle, right? This is an engulfing candle. It's larger than the previous 4, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
It came back up to 50%. I mean, it's anybody's best guess. Oh, my hero. Sure, yes, please. Sorry, that was my daughter. Okay, so I'm going to put on the fractals just so you guys can see. Let's see. You know what I mean? We broke below that low, but that was this move, so we already had an indicator there. We also broke below this one. So to have a nice pullback, I mean, how far we don't know, but this is going to drop. It's going to drop. We're making lower lows, right? Do you guys see that?
Yes.
So aside from the news, which is a choice you have to make independently, this is an excellent trade. This would be perfect. This has a huge ADR. So when we actually got confirmation for this to turn around, I mean, to get even 20, 30 pips is easy. Because even if it doesn't break this low quite yet, to get your pips and get out is too easy. Way too easy. Did you collect your pips though, or did you get out in profit?
No, I did. Yes, I did.
Let's see what the triple arrows are telling us. So we came up and tapped the ADR high. That's 4-hour support. This is our little arrow, not a big arrow. 5 and 13 cross. And now we're coming back up to retest that 50. And we have 34 minutes on this candle. So we can see what this candle does when it closes. If you like what this, but this is also what, do you guys know what this candlestick pattern is right here?
Railroad?
Yes, sir. So this is technically a reversal indicator. And that's why you have to decide kind of how you see the markets. So this again could reverse. A reversal indication no different than a divergence means a pullback. It doesn't mean that like it's going to go forever. Just like any one of these indicators that we use, it just means something is going to happen. It could be this. This might happen. And that's it. And then it could drop. But this is a reversal indicator. And if it actually comes out to be equal, then even more so. What do you think about it? What would be your game plan in terms of this trade?
I would well wait till it closes after within the next hour, and I'll just kind of probably decide from that point. But I'd like to see it drop to maybe the low average daily range on the bottom side.
Now this technically could stall out until that news comes. I mean, so that's kind of, what is the 4? So we're on the 4-hour now. That's about, would you guys say this is about 60? Let's see. from here to here, 320, well, we'll say 320. This probably came back down to the 61%. I don't do math too much in public, but that's about 61%, give or take. So that's what that did. That's a perfect pullback. Now we have to decide what this market's going to do, but this is a heavy mover. This one moves heavy, heavy. And on the 4 hour, we're trying to break above the 50. Again. If this closes above the 50, I would definitely hold off on the 4 hour even. I would hold off. But I'm already in this live, so it's kind of that catch-22.
Oh, you are in?
Yes, I am. I'm in. Let me go to that account actually. Let's see. On the 1 hour. I suppose we'll see what this is going to do.
So you're in a buy, correct?
I bought it, yeah. So I bought it like around here. Well, I bought it down here. This 5 and 13 is about where the 8 and 18 crossed. I think the 8 and 18 crossed, like, I think it tickled crossed over here, kind of around where the money tree line. My trailing stop took me out of the trade, and I knew this was going to continue, so I took another buy.
Okay.
Because it broke this. See how it broke right here? So I can tell you, it broke the 50. Didn't close above the 50. With these wicks I didn't like, but this was a break above the 50. And of course, at this point, we have our ADX and our momentum really pointing up. And if I had applied my actual tools or been actually in my office, this would have been a super safe trade. I would have got out in profit with whatever profit I had. However, I was dealing with other things at the time. I was dealing with real estate agents and rental property roof from hail damage. So this happened. I didn't get knocked out of the trade. So I will hold this trade. Because even if it drops, I mean, I don't think it's going to totally reverse past this. I mean, it could. I mean, obviously, I'm not a crystal ball holder, but I would take it for a sell in a different account because that account doesn't allow hedging. I would take it for a sell down to the ADR if I had enough confirmations and if this news wasn't there. Because that's a good trade. Let's see. Is my mic not okay, Doug? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, sorry guys. All right, Doug, I'm sorry if you can't hear me, but I think everybody else can hear me pretty good, I'm hoping. I'll make sure I'm not in any major Wi-Fi. I'll message. Let's see. So somebody else had asked, thank you, Donna. Somebody had asked about oil, or what else is it you guys wanted to look at?
Thanks, Jenny.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's see if I can read some of these questions. Moving average, crossover. Sounds good. Low indicator to SuperEZ. Yeah, you can use the ADR high and low indicator. Well, let's look at oil. So you want that indicator in the group. I will put it in the notification group again as soon as this call's over. So let's take a look at oil. Let's see. Now, does Canada still have more news?
They have news Friday.
Yeah. Not until Friday though, right?
Yeah, I think so. Pretty sure. Yeah.
Let's wait for this to load. I like how that's rejecting off the 50, but it still has 30 minutes on that Kindle, so we'll see. Let this bring up. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Peekaboo. There we go. All right, so whoever wanted to look at oil, can you speak up? Let me go back to the chat. Maybe if it'll let me. So the person who wanted to look at oil, it just says iPhone. Can you talk? This is the GG, so Stanlin, I believe is how you say your name. This is the GG strength indicator. I like it because it's small and compact. It just tells you what different time frames are doing. And yes, I can put that in the group. Hey, iPhone person, can you hear me? Peekaboo. Can you hear me? Okay, so for the person who wanted to look at oil, I would rather ask them what they see. So who on here who hasn't spoken up? Who wants to help me analyze this pair? The person, anybody?
I'll step up if no one else is interested.
Okay, there you go. You tell me what you see right here. We're on the 1 hour chart, US oil. These are the indicators that we have on this chart, so let's use what we have here. What do you see?
Well, I see that the ADX is pointing up. The green, the positive, is pointing up for potential sell, as well as the MACD. The green is above the purple. Additionally, the money tree line is turning green. Of course, we trying to, we always trade in line with the trend, and it's an uptrend. So that's like maybe 4 confirmations.
Okay. So what about this right here? What is this?
That is three white soldiers that they call it. So
okay.
4.
These are huge candles. Those are either momentum candles, right?
Right.
Huge. And we came back down to retest. What about this right here? You guys see this support?
Yeah, I broke it.
It broke it, right?
Continuation pattern.
There you go, Christopher. Yeah. So you said this was looking like a buy. This is looking like a buy. So the volume is kind of trying to pop up. This is looking like a buy to me. So for whoever iPhone, this broke a previous high. Let's see. And this broke a previous high. We're not looking for this to reverse just yet. Now we do have a doji, which is kind of nice, although this candle isn't closed, so that candle doesn't count yet. We don't count a candle anything until it closes. This candle has 20 some odd more minutes on it, 25, and this looks like a doji candle, right? And that's kind of nice. Getting some small wicks to the top, a railroad, but either way, like I said on last night's call, I would avoid this like the plague because we officially broke the highs all the way from yesterday. We broke the highs. Let's see. Not quite those yet. But if we had to guess, this is going to go up before it goes down. Do we know how much? No, because we don't have a crystal ball. But if I had to guess, this is going to go up long before it goes down. So I don't know if that answers your question because you're not able to come up and speak, but that's what we see. We see momentum to the upside. We see that this is still going up. We see that, look, this is an uptrend, and until it breaks that uptrend, we're not looking to sell. So could it come back down to here and then explode up? Absolutely. Could it come back down here, go slightly below it, and then explode up? Yes. But my best guess currently is this is definitely buying. Granted, there's news and other factors that could send it dropping, but in terms of technical analysis, and that's what we're using, guys, we are technical analysis. That's what we're doing. So aside from any kind of fundamentals, this is a buying market. We've got momentum. We broke previous support. We've got kind of played around or made a flag or whatever you guys want to call it. And again, it broke it. It didn't break it with power, but it broke it enough, like we talked about on last night's call. If it breaks a previous high, it's still making higher highs. So this isn't ready. It might be ready in a few hours to where it starts to stall and come down. But as we're looking at it right now, we don't have enough confirmations to sell this pair. This is just strictly on the 1 hour, not looking at anything else, strictly using the triple arrow system. The only indicator we have that says this could potentially sell is the only one that repeats most often, which is the big arrow. And like Pat says, this is only a weatherman. This isn't something we're going to like invest our entire thought process into. So this means absolutely nothing without the rest of the indicators that go with it. Does that answer your question, Mr. or Mrs. iPhone? Y'all really gotta put your names on here, man, because I don't know your names. Sometimes I can't even see it, and there's just somebody talking. All right, cool. I'm glad I could help. I could not speak as there's.
Jenny, also looking at the daily for oil, it looks as though it's going to be a pullback. If you go up one more up to the daily, it looks as though oil is getting ready to pull back a significant bit. Because it's at a weekly and a daily support.
Well, this is just the 4 hour. Yeah, it very well could pull back. And I don't trade a lot of news, so I'm definitely not the person to ask. I did get really good at US 30, but in general, most of my success has just been from sticking with Forex pairs because they're easy. Why would I put higher risk into things? So this equals 18 pips or sorry, 19 pips or 192 pips, right?
Right.
This is like 100 or 200, whatever. It's like, this is
a lot.
Full pip value. But look, guys, we have a clean crossover even on the daily. We have a clean crossover that this is buying even on the daily. So even a pullback, not to say that you can't make money. Again, I don't know how this moves or what those pips are worth, but in terms of technical analysis, why would I risk this move when I would wait for like some kind of indication and tell me to buy it and go with trend until the trend tells me to turn around? And even according to like, what do you call it, the market maker, this is a W pattern, even on the daily. And anything that happens on the bigger time frame is worth way more than what happens on the smaller time frame, right?
Right.
So every group likes to create a name and then call it theirs and then say that they're geniuses, whatever you want to call this, double top or not. The odds that it's going to break this area, so the neckline or the tip or the apex of the W is pretty high. And this is only going off of technical analysis. None of us are crystal ball tellers. We can't predict this, but I would look for a safer trade personally, because this isn't a safe trade to me. This is a momentum candle on the daily, a doji, which would tell me to look for a pullback, but either way, we have another green candle. This is a new candle, so maybe it'll come back down, who knows? And we've got some crazy news that might affect this, in all fairness. The news might work in your favor. But so for whoever wanted to look at oil, iPhone person, that's what this is. There's no, did I just delete something? I did, didn't I? Silly me. Sorry, guys. There we go. If that's what I see. So I hope that helps. If we go down to like the 15-minute chart, again, all we have even on the 15-minute chart is we broke above this with a momentum candle, pulled back, and now we're stalling out. So this, it technically could turn around, but we have no verification as of yet to sell this pair. So I hope that helps. Let's see. No problem, iPhone. I'm just going to pick on you and call you iPhone because iPhone comes up a lot, so technically you could be like 20 people. Hey, Austin, you want to take a look at GJ, and then Kat, you want to take a look at EG, EA, and EN. I've been liking those E pairs. I created my own strategy for US 30, and when I have 30 days of active use, I will release it. But I don't want to dishonor you guys and then give you something that I don't have accurate information on, because I think that's wrong. I mean, anybody can win any strategy for a couple weeks, but it's the strategy that's going to withstand that third and fourth week. I think that just, you'll notice people are pip heroes for 2 weeks and then they'll disappear. It's because they couldn't kind of get past that hump. So, Kat, what did you want to look at in terms of the EUR pairs? Let me go to the chat. EG, EA, EN. All right, who's on this call who hasn't spoken yet? So who's going to help me analyze this pair? Because look, I can stand up here and talk to myself all day long, but I want you guys to come out of this like super learning.
Oh, I
That's
wouldn't take this trade. I wouldn't.
Okay, why? Tell me why.
Well, I mean, the ADX is not ready yet, and it hasn't broke the 50, which I traded the 50. It has a lot of news coming up. I wouldn't take it.
Broke
What it
support.
is?
He also broke support.
We just made a lower low.
Yeah.
So we have a big arrow, which everyone thinks, okay, yeah, we're jumping in. No, we're not jumping in. We want the highest level of accuracy possible. So now I'm going to zoom out. Plus the euro pairs are selling. Aside from the news, again, we're discussing technical analysis. So that's what we need to discuss. The news can do whatever it wants, and it will do whatever it wants, as we saw today. But either way, we broke this. We've got a lot of wicks and indecision. This very well could turn around for a bit, and we've got a crossover here. But in terms of like taking this for an active buy, why would I take this for a buy? If I had more confirmations, would I scalp it? Maybe. I would need some massive confirmations because this would be a counter trend trade. Because again, officially we are downtrending. So until it breaks this, 1, 2, run it through. Until it breaks this, we're just looking for it to maybe touch and drop. If it breaks it and retest, we could probably take it to the ADR high or take it for that 20 or 30 pips pretty safely in general. Let's see, you want to sell the E-pairs. Yes, I want to sell the E-pairs. That's right, Kat, you're right. You're right. I am selling them, so I sold EN. Fortunately, especially when I'm not able to kind of babysit my trades, I'm real big on that trade management thing, as you guys know. The plus side is my accuracy ratio is super great. My losing trades are very few and far between. The negative side is I get knocked out quite often, especially if I can't kind of babysit it. But for me, it works safely, especially kind of in the middle of a transition and a move and life. So that works perfectly. So Kat, if you're waiting for a pullback on this, you're pretty much waiting until next week because of all that GBP pair. I mean, you wouldn't want to, I would play with the GBP pairs if it looked like the perfect setup, even with the news, maybe, but I wouldn't take it on a not perfect setup and all that news. No, you're just asking for trouble. So like, there's a good chance it'll come back up and kind of retest. I know what I deleted now. I deleted my little arrow. Oops. The 50, so probably maybe around here. Again, news can spike that out of the water, so then we'll have no way of knowing. No way at all of knowing. Delete. Let me add my little arrow back in here. If I can find it. Maybe. Super easy. This other folder. Sorry, guys. No idea what I'm looking for, clearly. Oh, there it is. There we go. Oh, see, this is the original one with all that nonsense on it. I don't even have most of y'all's up-to-date stuff. Do you guys still have to do all this on the little arrow or no?
Oh, no.
Okay, yeah, you guys have the better version. Fine. Maybe I should download that so I never have to do this again. Okay, let me just put this on here because I want to give you guys accurate information. I definitely don't want an alert on common. Okay. Boom. So our triple arrows are back on. If we go to EN, again, Euro NCD was getting super strong, which was kind of beautiful. So let's see what this pair is doing. That was a nice drop, but this is not pretty. So we're still fortunately below the 0 line on the MACD on the 1 hour time frame, but this is now officially an engulfing candle because it is bigger than the size before. It could just kind of come up to retest this. If it breaks this candle, this engulfing candle is no longer valid. This is the freshest engulfing candle. This is it. I mean, there's this, and nothing has been bigger or surpassed it or retested it. So kind of depends on how you want to see it. But again, same concept. We made a lower low. and we didn't quite touch the ADR low. Fortunately, with this pair, there's not a whole boatload of news. The news that there isn't super powerful. So for this pair, wait for that perfect kind of setup on the 1 hour chart, or you can check the 15-minute chart even. This candle has 12 more minutes. So that means we have a new 15-minute candle. Let's go back. Well, retesting the 50 and then drops. That's what I'd be looking for. I'd be waiting for the next drop on this. And then if you're going by the 4 hour, once you have a really great entry, let it run. Because on the 4 hour, as we can see, even if we're just going off of a couple confirmations and the 50, we got in, let's say we got in late because we have a life, or maybe we try to sleep every now and then, and you didn't actually touch it until you got another big arrow. Maybe there was one here. You didn't touch it at all. That's a really good trade. So that's awesome. But we'll just see what it does. This is officially 50% of the 4 hour time frame. Again, that's a real world kind of formation, but I'm expecting this to drop personally. The euro pairs to drop. Dorian, will you put that link in the group? Thank you, Kat. I appreciate you. That made me laugh and probably blush. Okay, yeah, we're definitely in an agreement on the euro odd, on the euro NZD. I like it better than euro GBP. First off, it moves more. Technically, it's worth less in value, but it moves way, way more. So euro odd, we're pushing up. If it breaks this support, then we're definitely changing direction, guys. Because this is support. And you can use your daily dots, you can use fractals, you can draw trend lines, you can use supply and demand zones, you guys can use whatever your eyes see better. But if this candle breaks this level, that's no bueno. Let's see. No bueno at all. But is that something going on with odd that's making it kind of so different? I wonder. Okay, so what do you guys see on this pair? What would you guys want to do on this pair? We're on the 4 hour chart. Let's see. Anybody? Donna, girl, you can step up, or somebody can step up, even if you have a little background noise.
I'll be looking for a sell, possibly.
Hey, Charles, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Fantastic. Okay, so when would you start looking for a sell? You wait for everything to kind of line up?
Yeah, I'd wait for another arrow.
Another, which arrow? Just the big arrows, or you take the little arrow and the little arrow kind of, you'd wait for the whole triple arrow setup?
Yeah, I'd probably wait for a triple arrow because it looks like that green one at the bottom is kind of far gone to get into another buy. I would think.
Yeah, I'm looking for a sell on these pairs. There's a chance. Again, no one came back and retested this huge candle. And if you guys look, this ADR high, I can sit in this class and everything, hindsight looks really 20/20, right? It looks super clear. But of course, when we're in the middle of it, we can't see it because of our emotions and our thought process. But if it does break this, I wait for it to go about here, which kind of lines up with 50% of that candle. Because again, it never got retested, and then look for that drop. It's possible, but either way, if it broke this, I would no longer consider this to be a seller's market. So again, at the end of the day, this is silly easy. All we're doing is kind of, I don't like how close these two are, but same concept. 1, 2, run it through for your trend line. It's one of those silly sayings that help a lot of people, including myself. Boom. You're waiting for it to kind of retest and hopefully break for the sell, but we'll see. That's a powerful candle, so we'll see what kind of happens. Hopefully it can't break that and it just falls. But I don't know if the controversy in this one particularly is because of the odd pair, but this one's not kind of playing according to structure. So there's that. Let's see, odd pairs. Hey, Milo. I started with this. So guys, when I come into my charts, one of the first things I do in terms of the triple arrow system is I usually start on the 4-hour chart. If I like what I see, and again, this is kind of a crazy week, so thank you, Dorian, I got your message. That's great that you put that in. Who is that? Peekaboo. So I would go to the 4-hour chart. We have a big arrow, little arrow. We, for some reason, don't have that 5 and 13 cross to buy, which is kind of strange to me because we should have technically had it. I mean, logically speaking, the 5 and 13 have to cross right here. But who knows, because this is all just computers. It's kind of retesting now. But if I liked what I saw, I would click down to the 1 hour, which I don't necessarily like this because my MACD is kind of pointing back down. I mean, this is telling me it's still selling, but let's take a look. I would go to the 1 hour and I would kind of take a look to see what this is doing. If this looks like it's ready, I'm going to take this trade for half of the ADR, and I keep it that simple. I usually try to keep it to a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, and then I can find just a handful of trades most days, once or twice a day, depending on what my schedule is like. And in terms of my swing trading, those are the ones that I don't put totally separate account. And the reason why I do it that way, it's because otherwise I try to micromanage it and then I get myself in trouble, which again has its positives because then I don't lose very much, but it also has its negatives because then I never reach the full potential of the trade. So for my swing trading account, we're only going off of the 4-hour chart, and we're entering it on the 1 hour, and then we don't touch it, for however many weeks, 2, 3, 4, sometimes more weeks. So, but this I don't like in terms of whoever asked about the odd pairs. Can you talk? Hey, Austin.
Hey, Jenny.
Okay, so the break of the 50. You ready? We're on the 1 hour chart. This is not a fast mover, so don't expect huge breaks. But this is a what kind of candle? Okay, engulfing, power, momentum. It's got some oomph to it. It's got gusto, right? This is huge. This is a big candle. So we want it to break the 50. Most of the time it'll come back and retest, not always, but a break of the 50. So this is a confirmation of our triple arrows. Another confirmation is the engulfing candle. I just got one of my alerts pop up. Hold on. Let's see what GU is doing. I'm going to see together real quick. So it made a higher high, but it's wicking at the top. Somebody just said that good chance we can buy this to here even with the news. That's crazy. Okay, but now that we're on the GBP pair, I can show you this better because that pair doesn't move fast enough. This right here is a break of the 50. See how powerful that break is? That's a real break. When we're looking at that, we're not looking for stuff like this. You see this area right here? Did any candle close above the 50 right here?
No.
Okay, so this would not count as a break of the 50, correct? Because no candle closed above it at all. And of course, price was still below it, so this doesn't count either. The first one that actually counts as a break of the 50 is, for the gentleman who asked that question, which one of these candles is a break above the 50? Bye, B. See you later. Austin. Can you hear me? Austin. Okay, well, it's okay. So this right here, you see how this didn't break? It's kind of just pulling it. This candle actually closed above the 50. Do you see that?
So what is the 50 that you're referring to? Because I kind of.
Oh, the 50 is just, sorry, I forgot. You're one of the new ones. We've got a couple Austins.
I'm like brand new.
And you've never traded before ever?
I'm making one trade now, and I'm down like 70 pips. So I'm trying to learn as much as I can right now.
Okay. Are you buying or selling GJ?
I'm buying.
Well, GJ is supposedly about to go up.
Yeah, I might just make a swing trade because the 4 hour looks pretty good with the triple arrows.
It's got to come up at least some pips because of that engulfing candle. And again, there's no guarantees, guys, but it rejected off that. What did it do that for? Hold on. Silly me. I'm sorry. Okay. So when we say 50, the 50 is the moving average. So like you're brand new to trading. You haven't been in 20 other groups. You don't have some backstory here. You don't know much about trading at all.
No, SuperEZ was my first group.
Well, lucky you. Honestly, I've been around the block a couple times in terms of trading. Not so much in life, but trading, yeah. So having said that, this 50 moving average, just so you know, one of the most common moving averages is this white line. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to make a naked chart, new chart window. Notice how even my naked chart default setting is my pretty colors and this 50 moving average. And the reason why I use the 50 moving average is because this is the average most commonly used by the banks. And I needed something that I could define what I decided the trend. And the more I Googled, the more I YouTubed and all the groups and all these years in IML, everyone had a different way of deciding the trend. So for me, I decided that for the way I see the market, if price is above, price means the candles, the 50 moving average on the 1 hour chart, then I'm looking for buys. This is a buying market. If price is below the 50 moving average on the 1 hour chart, I'm considering this to be a seller's market. And the break of the 50 is kind of super powerful. You'll notice that even if you backtest only this and nothing else, the accuracy on this alone is somewhere in and around, because we can't exactly filter out news without a better backtester, but give or take 60 to 70, 80%. And when you backtest it, can you get half of the average daily range? So it's a very, very powerful moving average. But when we're looking at it, people would say that this right here, is a break of the moving average, but did price close above it? So you know the size of a candle, right? That we have a body and a wick. This is the body, then we have two wicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the wicks are coming up. Did price close above the 50 moving average?
No.
GJ's moving in your favor. Okay, so
when you set it, do you just put 50 on the parameters on the period?
So when you set it, you would go to trend, you would go to moving average, you would go to 50.
Okay.
Shift is 0. Exponential makes it a little bit, it's less smooth, but it's closer to price, so I like it a little better. Choose your color. I personally make my 50 a little bit thicker because, again, I put more value in it. I don't require levels. I don't know how that would even work on this, but that's it. It's super simple.
Cool.
So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. iPhone. Asking why didn't things. I didn't really recruit. So whoever iPhone is, Jenny from the Block. Hey, I love that song, Donna. Seriously, I'll put on some J-Lo music for you guys. You have no idea. I grew up in the hood, kind of. Well, not too much of the hood, but the hood. My mom. Anyways, long stories. But yes, I love that song. And whoever iPhone is, again, no name. But I stayed with IML for a while. I was on Dr. Spiller's team. I learned a lot, but I got to the point where, there's so much information, there's so many traders that you can't possibly learn all that. It's great for a newbie, for like the person who needs to go through step 1, step 2, step 3. But if we're all being honest, 90% of that information is free on YouTube, free on Google, but it's just perfectly organized. So that's kind of awesome. I was part of Dr. Spiller's team as a kind of whatever side group. So I wasn't recruited directly by him, but I was on his team. And even with him, who we all know is a, 7-8 figure trader. So I took a lot of his signals, and to tell you the truth, like I started my own account just to track it. Like I did not do well with his signals. And it wasn't because he wasn't a great trader. Obviously he was a great trader. But like signals never really got me at all. Like I never really did great with signals. Swipe trade, same thing. The web analyzer is awesome. I know a couple strategies that are awesome with the web analyzer. I just didn't stick with IML because it wasn't worth the $200 and some odd a month anymore. So I kept paying for it like a year after I hadn't even logged in, which is foolish and irresponsible, I know. But I wasn't using it, and I didn't want to recruit. Like I didn't have a big interest in that. I had done some work prior many years ago in terms of like a multi-level marketing company, and I didn't want to be that. I just wanted to learn to trade. That's all I wanted. And Stephen Lindor is a beast, whoever said that. But he sees flags in a way that I will never see flags. I just don't see the market that way. And he's a great trader, but I don't see the market the way he sees the market. So it just wasn't useful. I learned everything I could, and I went through the training many times, went to all the classes, the ones I could attend, and I got what I could out of it, and there was no reason to stay because I wasn't going to recruit. So other than the web analyzer, the harmonic scanner, you can get great harmonic scanners for pretty cheap. In fact, I have a couple of them. One of them is paid for, the rest of them are free. And even that, you're still looking for the same thing. You're waiting for it to break the trend line. The only reason why I would consider repaying that is because I really want to use the web analyzer, especially considering like I'm moving. So having that kind of super fast system just to pop into a trade and pop out is kind of nice. But as we know with scalping, that's a really awful risk to reward. So it's not maybe the best decision. I mean, it depends on how you trade and how much experience you have. So yeah, let's see. All right, next question. Let's see.
We take a look at Euro NZD as the candle closed.
The candle is closed.
Let's take a look.
So we did not break that high. I wonder if Euro on broke that high. So it kind of wicked up. Now it's coming down. I want to look at it on this real quick, because I like the way my eyes see the market with this. It works for me. I like it a lot. So we can see that Euro is really getting stronger, and it could just be because of time of day. Frankfurt's going to open in a little while. And again, this isn't like a super great time, but on the 15-minute chart, we have this engulfing, kind of came back, didn't break the 50. So if we were going to look to sell this, I love how it broke the daily dots. Could you get your 20 pips? Absolutely. Let me see what this is set at on this one day. Yep. I love that. It looks good. It definitely looks good. So the breaking of these dots is great, but we'd be waiting for a clean crossover here, a momentum face up. This is below the 50, but only marginally. And NZD, I wanted to kind of point back down a little bit. This is a trade I would take. Not a whole bunch of news that's going to affect it. Your stop loss. So let's go to a bigger time frame. This is only a 10 pip and dip kind of thing. This isn't something you're looking to get a whole bunch of trades pips out of. Let's kind of see what the 1 hour is doing. We broke below this fractal, so to get in and to get your 20 pips or even half of the average daily range, too easy. Let's see. Not bad. What do you guys think of this trade?
Good luck.
I'm sorry? Austin, I like the SARS. I like the SARS a lot. I use the SARS on almost every strategy I use, almost every one of them. And the reason why is because there's a whole bunch of fancy indicators that kind of draw this weird line that does this zigzag thing to show you if you're downtrending or uptrending. But this tells you what price is doing on every time frame. There's no question, there's no maybe. This is 100%, that's what price is doing. So like on the 4 hour, we definitely have a little bit of indecision in terms of the market, but that has more to do with the news. The huge amount of interest rate news is going to make the technical analysis less accurate this week, no matter what we do. There's no way around that because those interest rate decisions have huge impacts. As you saw, every market moved today over one little piece of news in the US. But for the parabolic stars, look on the 4-hour. When they're under, yeah, you get some false signals sometimes, but even on this false signal right here, so give or take the dot is here, maybe, nope, right here. So if you got in, and this is not a super fast mover, you easily could have got your 20, 30 pips. Easily. And that's not with the perfect entry. And this is the ugly move. This isn't the perfect move. Now, when you combine those parabolic stars with some other indicators and you do your due diligence, then you end up with signals that are fire. So you have your parabolic stars, your 8 and 18 cross. We can add like that yellow arrow, that's the 5 and 13. That is what the market makers use. A lot of people use the 5 and 13. It's just a little bit too fast for my preference. But again, it's one more piece of evidence, because all we're doing is we're taking all the evidence we can find and saying, hey, what is this market going to do? And then with that information, you have X amount of level of accuracy. And let's say you're 80% accurate. Now your job is to tweak it just marginally. And again, it has to be measurably and marginally to where that you can kind of calculate how each one of these changes affect your progress. So, I mean, there's no really way to know, but I like the SARS best in terms of, it's one of my favorite indicators. Like the SARS, the ADX, the ADX tells you a whole bunch. The 50 moving average, they'll tell you almost everything the market is doing. Like, that's it. When you add that with the triple arrow system, when you add that with the support dots, and all these arrows give you an insane amount of confirmation. We don't always have to catch this huge move, although it's nice and it's a really stress-free way of trading. But it gives us enough. When you add the SARS to it and they flip below and you know that it's a buyer's market, then you know you're golden. So same thing. We have our triple arrows. As long as the SARS are above the price, you know that this is a selling market. Is there going to be some massive pullbacks and swings? Yeah. But the whole point of that is to catch this huge move. Like, see how long this move went? This move went forever. So that's like 4 months. Well, whatever, 4 months. That's how this is kind of messy. But do you see that for the person who asked about the parabolic stars? So our triple arrows told us to buy this down here. Give or take, let's say you got in after it pulled back. Not the best entry, not the worst. This is an 800 pip move. And every time you saw the SARS flip, and again, you know you're in a buying market on the 4-hour, you took that trade. If you only took it in line with like the support dots, and again, I don't even have the other dots on here, but I can put them on here. Here. Let's put these ones on here too. If you only took it with a couple other pieces of confirmation, so you took the SAR flip here, you took the SAR flip here, every one of these moves in line with the triple arrow system, I mean, this is enough to buy. This is one pair, one trade, one direction, and that's it. This is enough to buy a house, literally, in almost any country in the world. Because the best thing about swing trading is you can hold that trade. It's a really stress-free trade. But the best thing about compounding is you guys have to realize that if you had 30 pips at one lot size, 30 pips at another lot size, 30 pips at one lot size, and so on all the way up, this same 800 pip move is worth, I don't know, probably 100 times what it would be worth if you took one lot size and just held it. Because each one of these trades is compounding way, way bigger. I'm sorry, what did you say?
I watched the video.
Whoever's talking, I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this what you just explained here is exactly what Dr. Story did. He had a video where he explained how he went from $20,000 to
Dorian, I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
It's my mic.
Okay, I'm sorry. I hear you like just faintly, like super, super soft. But I heard you say it's my microphone, just fine.
No, it might be me. I talk.
Now I hear you. What were you saying?
Yeah, I watched the video where Dr. Stiller explained how he went from 300,000, and we compounded over a 3 to 4 month period. The same method that you just explained.
Okay, so here's what I got out of that. I watched a video, Dr. Speller, and compounding. So I'm going to go with that much, and I'm going to say compounding is the way to go. And we, including myself, we all want this huge move on the 4-hour chart. It's appealing, it's easy to see, and in hindsight, this just looks so easy. But in reality, if we're all being real with ourselves, let's say we got the perfect entry right when it broke the 50, 4-hour confirmation, and this is a perfect trade. The truth is, we're going to be up so many pips, we're going to cut some of our position off, or we're going to move our stop into profit. We're going to be up so many pips, we're going to cut some of our position off. So by the time we get up here, we're probably only riding like a 0.0 something or a 0.1 or a very small lot size, rather than if you took, let's just take this one pair. So everyone keeps messaging me about compounding, and it's really hard to answer that many people. So here, let's talk about compounding and then whatever other questions you guys have. But let's say that you start with a $100 account, or heck, even a smaller account on a high leverage broker. So let's say you start with a $50 account on a 2001 broker like AAFX. Spread is not pretty, but there's no commissions and fees. So kind of take it with a wash. So let's say your first lot size is only a 0.02. Okay, and somebody can get out a calculator if you guys want to do this. If each time you were only going for half of the average daily range, each time. So let's say we got approximately 50 pips out of this, okay? That's 50 pips, and then we got new dots and parabolic stars flipped, and we divide again. So that's 50 pips, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see what this is an ugly move. This is not a pretty one, but I want to use these two. Even on this very not pretty move, even on a really horrible spread broker, you would have been able to get your half your average daily range, and worst case, you would have had a trailing stop to knock you out. So this is 5. So again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 trades. Let's say we stopped taking these because this is market uncertainty. We don't know if it's uptrending or buying trending because now it officially broke the trend, right? So let's pretend like we missed all of this, because in real life we probably did. We didn't know what the market was doing, or we'd be trying to sell. So either way, 10 to 15 trades on that compounding sheet. If one of you guys want to pull it up at 50 pips, this is potentially $50 to like 10 grand. That's what this is. Don't quote me because I don't have my sheet in front of here. I'll get it out. I'll tell you. I'm not going to switch screens, but I will tell you. I'm going to my SuperEZ $1 million spreadsheet. I'm going to load up my version, and I'm going to type in, whoopsie, $50 starting, because I'm using a high leverage broker. I'm going to go for 30% per trade. I'm going to go for 50 pips each time. So by trade 15, well, yeah, then I'm at $3,000 on one trade. And that's without having to have a ton of capital. Wait, on trade 15, yeah, I'm almost 4,000. Almost $4,000 on one trade, starting from $50. Now, if you started that with $100, same concept. This is the power of compounding. By that same trade, by trade 15, I'm at $7,500 on one pair, one trade. Well, this is every time you got back in. And you guys can notice that it's too easy. So even on this ugly move, this is not a pretty or perfect move. This moves 60-ish pips. You had a trailing stop of 20 pips on any one of these moves. Even the ugly ones, you got out in profit. So not just using the perfect moves. That's how I see this. But like if most of you guys are starting with a $100 account and you got 800 pips, so I'll get out my calculator. Wrong device, let me get my phone. Let's see. So 800 pips times 20 cents, right? Well, we'll do it by 50 cents. You'd have made $400 on this. That's the difference in compounding it. So on this one move, if you compounded each one, actually closing the trade and then starting with a new lot size, that's the difference in what you can make. So even with the $100 account, it's a $400 profit, versus a $2,000, $3,000 profit or a $7,000 profit. That's what this one move equals when you compound. So when I stress like the whole need to compound, guys, that's what I'm trying to teach you, is that this one move, it depends on how you trade. If you're compounding and closing out with your 50 pips, close out with whatever your daily goal is or your per trade goal is, or maybe you're going for half of the average daily range, whatever your style is, potentially could be worth, I mean, what is that? 8 to 30 times as much if you're compounding rather than just swing trading. So it just depends on how you want to see the market. Dorian, I don't think any pair is a perfect reversal. NZD, so what pair is the most smooth? I don't think any pair is. Supposedly GBP USD is. It's a good pair to swing because when it moves in a certain direction. But let's go to the 4-hour chart and let's take a look. I like swinging GBP USD. It's one of the ones I watch on the 4-hour.
Can I ask a quick question while you're looking?
Why I'm looking at what?
While you're looking for that. Well, I guess it's in response to what you're talking about as far as holding a 4-hour trade for 2 months or 3 months or whatever. How do we know that? I mean, once we get in a 4-hour trade, do you look for confirmation on the 1 day and the weekly and all that, or how do we know to hold it for that long?
And that's because
the big arrow, it repaints. You know what I'm saying? Like when it's doing retracement, you'll think it's going to reverse. So how do you know to stay in it?
So let's go back to this EN pair that we were just looking at, and that's just it. Hindsight's 20/20, and I can't say that enough. Because we keep studying these charts and we make our eyes go blind looking at them thinking, why can't I figure this out? What is it, right? And we're like totally tripping in our minds. We're just getting mind boggled over this. We don't know. That's what I was trying to say. So in theory, to hold this trade forever seems like a beautiful thing. In theory, you got in March and you held it, in theory, till it came back over here till June, but that's all in theory. There's no way to know that. There's no way. So like when this broke the 50 on the 1-hour chart, this is the 4-hour chart, I would have been looking for sells. When this broke the 50 over here on the 4-hour chart, I would have been looking for sells. But that's why we're saying, that's why I'm saying when you decide to trade in a different way, so let's go to the 1-hour chart. And like Edward on the call, he's using a couple of small things. He's doing super well. There was a couple other gentlemen that are using comparable things and they're doing super well. If we only take enough confirmation, yes, this triple arrow system repaints. This will repaint, okay, or this tells us to sell. What I'm trying to say is every one of these moves compounded, and this is a counter trend trade. You have to decide if you were willing to take that. But let's just only take the buys because our triple arrows are on the bottom. So we took our first trade, we got out at 50 pips, right? We have a 1-to-1 ratio or better. We don't take a trade that has a 1-to-1 ratio or worse. We got our 50 pips and we got out, right? What I'm saying is this way is much, much better because by the time you compound that account, this is the difference between the person who's still at $2,000 and then they drop to 1,000. This strategy, compounding, is the difference. That is the difference because even this part of the move, which again, this is not a huge part of that move. This is only, the end of March to May. So this is only a small portion. You can get in this trade for 50 pips a lot of times, right? Do you see what I'm trying to show you? This is the Stairmaster, to use Pat's words. Do you see?
Yeah.
So we don't know to hold it because hindsight's 20/20. We get these triple arrows, we'd be trying to sell. We get the triple arrows where this maybe it repainted. That's the whole concept. If we go with the trend and we're going in the same direction, we use other confirmations such as parabolic SARs, the 4-hour SuperEZ SNR dots. That's kind of in line with the way I trade. Because again, look at this, no triple arrows. So let's take the whole concept of triple arrows out for a second. Let's only look at this. We did not break the 0 on the MACD. Clean crossover on the ADX, momentum posting up. We have support lines. We could not break the 50. Odds are we have a clean cross of the 8 and 18 up here. I can't verify, but pretty sure. And we took this for 50 pips. This is kind of the kind of trades that I would take. Do you see this? That's all I'm looking for. And then compounding gets really, really easy. It takes way less time too. Compounding sheet. Devontae, yes, the compounding sheet is in the notification channel. Please do your due diligence and actually look in the notification channel, because you'll find the one posted by me that has the Microsoft version and the Apple version. And then you won't have all these other kind of misguided, slightly misformed versions floating around. So that we do gotta kind of do that. Otherwise we end up posting these reposts and they're not always great. So yeah. But does that answer your question to the gentleman who was asking about knowing the difference in terms of the swing trades?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, there's just no way to know. I mean, in theory, it all looks good. But why would I miss out on this many pips? So this is the same pair. This looks perfect. This is that 800 pip move. But I could have also caught a total of probably, give or take, 5,000 pips. And I would have missed 300 here, would have missed 200 here. I'd missed so many hundred here, so many hundred here. So it depends on your trading style. There is a really good one for the day charts. I don't know if I have what it takes to do it. I don't know. I mean, I want to have what it takes to do it for just like a savings account method where you would just take the daily signal and you'd hold it. You'd hold it for 10 times the ADR, 5 times the ADR, or whatever strategy I would kind of decide are the rules for that. And in theory, that would work just fine if you create the rules that go around it. But you have to realize just how many days this is. So this is October, and this one is December. So you're going to be looking at this 500 times. And in this case, that's perfect. You'll be happy every day. But in most cases, this is what happens. You'll be happy and then you're sad, and you'll be happy and then you're sad, and you'll be happy. You'll close because you don't know what to think anymore. And then you'll be mad because you closed it, and happy because you got back in. But, you know, you go through all this emotion. That's how I see this set up. I don't know if that's a good example or not, but yes. Dorian, let's see your question. I like the concept of, Austin, to answer your question, I like the concept of having a take profit set. I've done better with having a take profit set than just leaving them open. Because the problem with just leaving them open, like I just said, let's find a good example here. And on this one, I do have to actually find an example. Let's say that we bought this pair. We had our triple arrows, we had all of our indicators lined up, and woohoo, we were right, okay? But this is 700 pips on the daily. But then it comes back down, and you just lost 400 or 500 of those pips. So if you don't have a take profit set, then that stinks. At least if you have a take profit set, you have the max amount of what your take profit was. And in this case, let's say we got in here. We are so happy because we made 1,000 pips. But we're trusting the system, and now we just literally broke even. Give or take, right? We literally just lost 1,000 pips because we had no take profit set. I mean, this is kind of a bad example because this is a day chart, but that's what trading is like. If you don't have a take profit set, it's like getting in your car and driving without knowing where you're going. So to me, that's just silly. Not to say that it doesn't work, and I have had success at it. And one of my accounts, I do it with no take profit set. One of the ones I enter has no take profit. But that's a total different account. That's that 22, 44, 77 thing. I would not, you take your profit based on the ADR. Dorian, can you talk? Oh, no, you can't because your microphone. Okay, let me read what you wrote. It's long.
No.
Oh, you have your phone now? Okay, hey, can you tell me all that?
Yeah, with the long-term trade, I remember last class you said that the 22.44.77 would probably take you out of a long-term trade too early. And I was wondering, would Fibonacci then come in handy to set your take profit in this case?
Yeah, the Fibonacci is always handy. If you can read it, it's very handy.
Okay.
After a while, like you won't even need it. You'll be able to see this retrace 50%. You'll be able to see it pretty well.
Okay. And then I just wanted to mention that I think I might put on the zigzag pattern again, because I have two zigzags that I place on the chart. So one follows price action and then the other one just goes straight. And as long as they're not meeting, you know that the trend is going to continue. And when they both merge together along with the triple or the big arrows, you know that that's a reversal. So that'll help take away the fear that people have if they kind of confuse a pullback with the reversal.
You can send me a picture of that. I never really got down on the zigzag because all it is to me is like drawing a line.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if that helps you see it, you should totally use it.
Okay, cool.
But
Thank you.
drop some pictures of how you use it. Maybe it'll help somebody.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
Jenny, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you use the SARS on the 4 hour? I kind of left for a while, so I don't know if you went over that or not.
I love the SARS. I mostly use it on the 1 hour and below.
Okay.
But it's the same concept on the 4 hour. But you have to have the patience for this because this is a lot of time. And
Yeah.
usually the SARS first flip, there's a pullback. And that's okay. That's part of real trading. A lot of real trading styles always have a pullback. So you have to be mentally and emotionally prepared for that. But yeah, I like the SARS. I like them on every time frame.
And what do you look for in the 1 hour?
So on the 1 hour on this strategy, Cat, this is a free indicator. It's one of my favorites after testing a whole bunch. My friend Ray and I kind of talk and we kind of share currency strength information and just talk about life. So we decided that this is the best one, at least for right now. And we've tested out a whole bunch. So he loves this one and I love this one. This is free. It's called the Currency Relative Strength Indicator, and I can post a picture of what it looks like actually here in the group if it will let me. Or just so you guys see it on this video. Let's see. It is open, huh? Let me make it bigger, sorry. So what am I looking for on the 1 hour? I'll answer your question here, Edward, as this is kind of deciding to go up. On the 1 hour, according to this strategy, what I'm looking for is I want the parabolic stars to flip, the cross of the 8 and 18, clean cross of the ADX, and a clear break of the 50 on the 1 hour. If I have like this currency strength indicator showing me too, granted, no one could have predicted this. This is news. This is perfect in hindsight, but no one could have predicted that. But so let's go to a different one. This is a clean crossover, clean break, clean crossover. Buy sell lines. This is the 4 hour one, as you guys know. Parabolic stars were above the 50, which I like it. So if this crosses up, then I'm looking for the buy above the 50. Boom, and just take it. That's all I'm looking for.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. It's this one right here, Kat. So there's a couple, but it's the one that have the colored blocks. That one. This one has white. You don't want that one. You want this one. This is the best one. So, yes, ma'am. All right, any other questions, guys? Let's see. ADR, perfect. How many pips would you set a TP for on swing trades? You can't. You have to know like the pair, because some pairs only move a small amount per day. You can't set like a perfect TP for it on swing trades. You can go for 100 pips, but some pairs move hundreds and hundreds of pips, and some pairs 100 pip move is about all you're going to get. To whoever asked that question, let me see. Any other questions, comments? Let's see. That was Austin. DJ, when you talk about compounding, I get hyped up. It's kind of really awesome to be part of, and it's only a few of them, but it's really awesome to be part of the people who are like, they're seriously changing their lives over just a little compounding sheet and some trading, some basic rules and trading. That feels special and it feels amazing and it feels good. So that compounding thing is no joke. All right, guys, any other questions, pairs you want to look at? I want to look at GM one more time while you guys are deciding what you want to talk about. Oh, see, it's breaking. That means we're getting a clean cross up.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, who is this?
It's Siobhan.
Siobhan, how's it going?
Good. I just had a question about your news indicator. I don't know if you spoke about it, but I didn't hear if you did or not.
Oh, this is one from a paid for group. I would say that it's worth it, but it's like $200 a month. And
Okay.
yeah, I don't really think it's worth it. I just happened to buy into that company before they had a monthly membership. So I bought into the lifetime package. You know how those companies do who are growing. I bought into it then, and now they have a monthly membership. So I don't think it's worth $1,200 a year. You know, I don't think it's worth $2,400 a year. Because there's some other ones in the group that tell you something similar too. So.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry about that. So I can't even like give it out because it's got a code and a password too. So what do I think of Odd Chef? We broke below the previous, I mean, I'm thinking this would probably go to, so the odd is getting weaker. It's on the 1 hour chart. So the person who asked about Odd Chef, what do you think of Odd Chef? Milo?
Hey, Daddy.
Hey, can you talk? What do you think of this pair?
Well, I'm just looking for like possible like 15 pip now later movements, and I'm just before like when your call started, like the parabolic stars were like before like 3 or 4 candles were there. The parabolic star was like for a buy, and it had like the triple arrows and stuff. Well, not the triple arrows, but it had like the big green arrow and the yellow arrow. And I went on the heat wave calculator or whatever that app is called, and I saw that the chef is like stronger than the odd, so obviously he's gonna keep selling. But I just wanted to get your input on it. If you would think like a buy is like within the near future, he's gonna keep selling past like resistance or support.
It's selling, so I'm not looking for a buy. I'm looking for a sell. So I don't use the triple arrow system on the 15-minute time frame. So to the current support, it's moving now. When I first started measuring it, you could have got 15 pips. Now you would get less. If it goes to the average daily low, I mean, you can definitely get your 15 pips and get out. But you see the spacing in the MACD? This has some volume to drop. And even if we go to like the flip-flop method, this is creating a doji, so that's, who knows. But we do know that I can draw a trend line that's going down. We do know it broke the previous fractal, right? So we're definitely going to keep going down for some amount of time. I mean, to at least here. Do I know how many pips that is? It has to, what broker are you using?
He goes with.
It has to be worth your spread. I don't know what your spread is there, but I'm guessing it's at least a couple pips. But if it goes to here, you can get your 10 pips. Because odd is dropping hard right now, which is probably why euro was having all that stuff going on. The euro odd was having all that stuff going on. However, the chef is kind of doing a pullback. So that's going to cause a little bit of indecision because we really want this to be facing up and this to be facing down. But if we go to the 15-minute time frame, we can kind of see what they're doing. Probably something pretty comparable. Let's see. Peekaboo. It takes forever to load when I'm on a Zoom. It's pretty interesting. Very, very. There we go. So I'm going to double click. So we're to see how we're stalling out right there. We definitely broke below the previous lows. So I think we're still going to keep going down. I don't know if you'll get your 15 pips, but this is a safe sell for at least a few pips. It's a very safe sell because now we're kind of going back up. I don't like how CHF, I don't know if there was a news event or something that affected the CHF, but CHF is dropping. So this is going to kind of balance out and continue to stall out until CHF gets a little stronger. So yeah, that's about it. But it's not, this is a good trade in general.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, any other questions, pairs?
Hey Jenny, this is DJ.
Hey DJ, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Wonderful.
Hey, so has the currency relative strength indicator ever kept you out of a trade? Like if all your other indicators line up?
Well, that's a really good question. Actually, you ask really good questions usually. So this one, I'm not going to fib. I really wish it went back in time. Here, I'll show you. This is the one that really kept me out. So when I told you guys that I have like 4 or 5 months of data that shows, okay, this is how much of the accuracy. Well, this was 2 months ago, so now it's way more. But either way, I had all this like handwritten scribbling notes. I started on stickies and then I went to a notebook and I would write down my pairs for the week and then I'd see, it's this one. Well, I'm going to not put it there. I'm going to put it on the actual triple arrow system. So this one right here, highly accurate. It's a little harder to read, very choppy, but you'll see it in here in just a second. So for the sake of this right here, I'm going to keep it really simple. First off, you'll notice that the currency pair I'm currently on is technically the thicker lines. The other ones kind of show you the other pairs, right? But the cool thing is this was prior to me using the ADX again. So you'll notice that usually this currency crossover kind of coincides with the ADX, which is one of the reasons why I started using it again. Because again, I learned this with Dr. Spiller. I was using this years and years ago. So has the currency strength indicator ever kept me out of a trade? The answer to that is absolutely yes. And it was this one. This is the one that I used that kept me out of the bad trade. Because the triple arrows reset, right? But the cool thing is if you're actually using this for the most part, you're only trusting it on the 1 hour. You're not going to listen to all the noise on the other time frames. But let's say that over here, we had a triple arrow system set up right here. We have our big arrow, little arrow, whatever. We would have not had perfect kind of symmetry here yet. Because what I was doing was I put a 0.001, a 0.001 level on this. So I wanted price to break out of that. I didn't want it just to have a crossover. I wanted it to break out with enough volume of a crossover. So like, for instance, I'm sure Triple Arrows was telling us to buy over here and then it probably reset. Again, I can't say because I don't know. But our MACD would have had a crossover but wasn't quite clear. At the time I had the profit level supreme or whatever, a couple other indicators on here. But what I noticed was this would keep me out of the trade that wasn't ready. It is not perfect. Nothing is 1,000% perfect. And there's 100 different versions. So like the bar alert, I used to actually go to a website for this information. I used to go to a website and decide my trade based off of the website, which told me the currency strength. Can this do that? Yes. I just personally, I'm on the 1 hour chart. Let's go to the 1 hour chart on this one. I like the way this one looks better. It's cleaner. It's more, we get this kind of like the other currency strength indicator you guys have seen on my charts, but this is on whatever time frame I click. Whereas the other one that goes here, it's only for like in general, it's by the second, which doesn't always matter because by the second can change by the second, so it has no value. But on this tells me what price is doing on this time frame. And then if I click to a different time frame, this tells me what price for all these pairs are doing on this time frame. So whatever time frame I'm on. And of course I can make it to where it's only the right colors. Only deficit is it's harder to back test. But you'll notice when price kind of crosses, so we had our actual cross here, and we kind of retested. You want price to kind of come above that 60 and below the 40, or you can kind of create your own levels of like the 55 and 45. which is what I have on my other broker on my CoinX account, actually, the one I am actively trading on most right now. So my levels are right here, 55 and 45. So when on this pair, the CHF was above 55 and odd was below 45, and we had a crossover or like a touch and reject right here, and everything else lined up, I can take it for a sell pretty safely. And then I don't have to stress or wonder what's going on. Nothing will undo news, but and there's no indicator that gives you everything. When you have something like this, right, we don't know what's going on in the market. We're kind of unclear. When we have our little dots and we're thinking, okay, this is a good idea, and we're looking at it, but let's say we see it here, but we see the ADX coming down. So imagine like all we see is this right here. Momentum kind of flattened out. ADX started to come down. I told you guys you're not worried about what the seller's line is doing. You only want to really care when the buyer's line comes up if you're selling. And if you're buying, you're not really caring what the buyer's line is doing. You only want to care when the seller's line comes up. But either way, if you saw this trade, you see the RSI pointing up, you're getting a little nervous. You don't know what to think. You see the seller's line pointing down. You don't know what to think, and you're a little bit apprehensive. But you have your parabolic stars, you have your break of the 50, and your buy-sell lines as an example. And you want that one more piece of evidence. You guys have to decide which piece of evidence you want. For one gentleman on this call, it might be the zigzag lines. For another person, it might be the fractals. To say, hey, when it breaks this and makes a lower low, I know I'm selling. And for some people, it might be a currency strength indicator. I really, really, really like currency strength indicators because they keep me out of bad trades. Nothing perfectly. And this is the one that I used the longest. To be honest, it's this one. As you can see, it's not as eyesight friendly. But you'll notice in moves like this, especially if you add a 0.0015, or I can tell you what the actual measurements of it was on my other account. Add a couple of levels for this. You would not have accidentally taken this for a buy because price wasn't quite ready. It's not going to be foolproof, but this will keep you out of the trade that you would have got into wrongly. But the ADX does something pretty comparable. You'll notice when you backtest it that for the most part, this cross happens slightly after or in around the same time as the ADX crosses. And then no, it's not, nothing is 100%, but that's one of the reasons why I started using this is because I can see this from my phone. I can't see this from my phone. So same thing.
Thank you for answering that, Jenny.
You're welcome, DJ. Any other questions, guys? What time is it?
Jenny, I don't know if you went over this or not, but what does your currency relative strength indicator look like on the marketplace?
This one? I did go over that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's okay. I'm like, I did go over that here. So this
I
is
left my computer for a little bit, so sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you guys which one. I did use the other one longer, but we tested, so me and another partner tested the two back-to-back. So this one you can't back test as far, right? The other one, the back test a little bit farther. But we had just the two currency strength indicators, and then I used my crossover. He used his methods, and we kind of looked to see how they lined up. I like this one better. So it looks like this. It's called this currency relative strength indicator. Look at the blue box with the colored stuff on it. And this is the one that I like the best. There are many, many versions. I've seen some ones that look like airplane trips, but they're so crazy, and I could show them to you guys, but they were like vomiting for your eyes. It's not good. It's like this. It's just too much.
Thank you, Jenny.
You're welcome.
Hey, Jenny, how you doing?
Fantastic, boss man. Who's this?
This is Corey.
Hey, Corey. How are you?
Okay, pretty good. I got a little technical question. I pushed that X that's right up under there, and I lost my whole screen, my graphs and everything. I don't know how to get that back, right where you just pointed at.
Okay. So click on Odd Chef. Go to chart window.
Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find that window. Everything is just wiped out. Okay.
Did you save, wait a minute, did Irving set up your chart?
No, I had set them up.
Did you save it as a template?
Yes.
Then I got you.
Okay.
So press chart window.
Okay.
Now, whatever you have saved as default comes up. I keep this as default because it kind of is a friendly mental reminder that this is all that matters. And then I'm going to go to my templates and I'm going to choose which one I want to use.
Okay. All right, now I have to find everything that's wiped off of here. I have to find the toolbar, so I have to go to the toolbar somewhere.
What do you mean, you deleted this too?
Yep, I deleted it. I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
Okay, so go to toolbars.
Go to toolbars, and that's in view. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna need to see all that.
Okay. So I need to open up everything. First. Thank you very much. I'm over here like, wow, what is going on?
You are welcome. We're all just like people sitting at home on our computers trying to make these MT4s work, wondering what's wrong with our computer, wondering, like, I probably have no less than 50 electronic devices because I've got like a smart home. I've got like all my Alexa devices in so many different rooms. I've got computers, tablets, iPhones, my watch. I mean, everything, fridges, the heater, like there's 1,000 hooked to Wi-Fi. So yeah, this MT4 thing is no joke.
Okay, I got it. Thank you. I have one more question.
Okay.
About that compounding list, that graph. What do you call that? That trading list that you have?
SuperEZ Forex thingy.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know how to use that. Do you have a video or anything that I can look at to learn how to use that?
I do. It's in the group. It's in the Google Drive, and it's also on my YouTube, and I can post it again.
Okay. Because I would like to look at that, and I would like to start doing that.
Compounding is where it's at, guys. If we're not compounding, all we're doing is playing with money.
Okay.
So that's kind of a little bit direct and a little bit harsh, but at some point we have to be super honest with ourselves if we want to make super honest, amazing things happen.
Yeah, I really want to learn that.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Okay,
And I have a question.
Oh, Donna, hey girl, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Good. Okay, on the compounding sheet, so you were showing that you know, when you showed the example to when it was going in an uptrend, you would get in, take 50 pips, get out, and then go the next step of the lot size on the next stair step, and then go up. So would you do that? That's on the per trade, but what would you do on the swing?
Say that again.
Does that make sense? Okay, no. So when you were showing that example, when you were going up on the stair step on that chart.
Yeah.
I forgot what pair you were looking at. You were talking about the lot sizes, compounding like the stair stepping, right? So on the swing trade, we're not getting, I guess, how would that work on the swing trade?
On the swing trade, you would use this. So like, let's say you have $400 in your account. So, oopsie, sorry guys. So let's say you're starting with this. I'm gonna make that $400. I'm gonna make that 83. If I can type. Wow. Don't ask me. My tablet is okay. Y'all saw I did not type in no zeros, okay? It's just having a fit. There we go. So at $400, let's say you were going for 600 pips. Do you think you can actively get approximately 600 pips a week? Or, again, so we decided this was aggressive. This column is aggressive, right? This was more conservative. you'll notice the lot size is much smaller. So let's say you believe you can get approximately 700, 800 pips a week. So all week long, every trade you take, anything you find for the swing trades, you're going to be using a 0.04. So like if you're stacking one of them, the total amount you're going to use is a 0.04. No matter what, it's a 0.04. So the next week, and you're holding that trade until you actually know it's a reversal and you have to get out of it, which could be weeks or even months. And then the next time you enter a trade, you're using this one. And the next time and the next time. So this is for every trade you find that week. Let's see. Every trade you find that week, you're doing that lot size. Every trade you find that week, you're doing that lot size. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and then, but what you did on the example just a minute ago when you, I think it was on Euro NZD, I'm not sure, but you were showing how, you know, going up the stair, you would get out of the trade, then whatever the lot size for the next trade is, you would, that's how you compound it, right?
That's using something like this or this. That's using per trade. So the difference between swing trading, this is swing trading, this is going per trade. So notice how this takes like 35 trades to hit, give or take 6 figures. And that's being conservative. Again, I'm with the group who's doing 7 figures and 24 trades. High risk, high accuracy. But so let's use something kind of in between. So again, 60 trades. Notice how that in 60 trades, you're already at a super high amount of money versus it took you 12 weeks. Most of us can find anywhere from 10 to 30 trades in a week pretty accurately if we were using this one, right?
Right.
Most of us can find 10 to 30 trades in a week pretty effortlessly. So that's the difference. So this would take 2 to 3 weeks in general, whereas the other one would take 12 weeks.
Okay.
Do you see the difference? So if I just went for, let's say, 30 pips or the super conservative 50 pips, and I'm using that the bigger time frame, but I'm going for 50 pips for every trade. That's trade 1, trade 2, trade 3. This took me approximately 60 trades, which again, based off of 30 trades a week, this took me 2 to 3 weeks. That's it. In this one right here, this took me 13 weeks, 3 months. But this one's more work. Yeah, this one's more work. More work, yeah.
Okay.
Does that?
So it just depends on, I mean, it makes sense. I was just trying to, I had started my weekly, but then I lost a couple weeks ago, and I'm kind of starting over, but I know what I did. So it's so yeah, I'm just trying to figure out which, because you were talking about, I saw your video from yesterday, and then I was like, well, maybe I should do the per trade. I was like, well, no, I kind of like the weekly, so I'm trying to figure out which one I want to stick with it. You know what I mean?
Well, then make a decision and stick with it. But like if you're asking me, notice how the risk on this is only 15%. Is that super high? Is that super aggressive? No, it is not. 15% is reasonable.
Right.
You're over leveraging, you're not over risking. You can do 2 to 3 trades, give or take, depending on if you're using a higher leverage, you can use a lot more, but you can do 3 trades safely with this. So going for 50 pips, this is conservative. This is actually easy. And in 60 trades, you still have 6 figures. So even 60 trades, let's say you only end up with 100,000 because either you had some losses or because some of the pairs didn't trade at $10 per lot, or because whatever, some of them closed out with your trailing stop. Let's say in 60 trades, you only had 6 figures. If you made 6 figures in 2 to 3 weeks, would that not be life-changing?
Absolutely.
So 6 figures, like, again, what I would tell anybody else, or like my coaching clients, well, like I've worked with you personally, right? So I would say pay off your debt with the first withdrawal, and then make sure you have enough, to get a house or be super secure with your second withdrawal. And then you go play. And then think about quitting your job. Like if you were asking me, that's what I would do. So if it was me, this again is not a super high starting balance. Here, let's make it a little bit of cushion. Let's say you put $200 in there or $250. and you're going to trade this balance, and that's a measurable difference. That's a $400,000 difference off of a small difference, huh? $100 difference. Let's say in real life you have $250 in there, but we're going to trade that account as if we only have 200 because we want to leave that room for margin and just life, or maybe we want to withdraw it or whatever. So we're going to type in 200 even though our real account has 250. If we're going like 33 to 50 pips, let's say it's a slower mover, so we're going to go for slightly less pips. If it's a faster mover, we'll go for more, depending on the average daily range. We have enough confirmations and we take it. In your AAFX account, which I know you have, you can afford to take 3 trades at a time. Odds are you're going to take them all at this lot size because you don't have the balance yet to justify 3 trades at this lot size. So let's say you took 3 trades at, give or take these 2 lot sizes, depending on the ones with the most. If one of them has 7 out of 10 confirmations, use this one. If one of them, if one of them had 10 out of 10 confirmations, go to the bigger one. That's fine. But then you close out, and as we kind of play with this, most days you're going to hit close to your daily profit. Let's say one trade you lost, and that's okay. That's not going to make or break the bank. You can decide if you want to type it in here or if you just want to leave it blank, and you can just go back to this daily profit goal. So you go back to that lot size or whatever. Sorry, that lot size, because obviously you took a loss this day, so you'd be back to this lot size. All you're doing is 60 trades. I don't know exactly what your schedule is. I know you have your son and stuff. So let's say that you vowed to work early in New York and you got to London, or that London-New York crossover. And you're just looking for anywhere from 2 to 4 trades a day. 4 times 5 days a week is about 20 trades, right? So it would take you approximately 3 weeks to hit that number. And here, if we fail this by 90%, so if we fail $1 million by 90% and we still hit 6 figures, that's life-changing money.
Right.
So even if we fail this and mess this up dramatically, because you're going to have some losses, and that's okay. But if you have an accuracy ratio of anywhere upper than 70%, your accuracy needs to be close to 70% to make this happen. Anything less than that is not doable. And I personally say your accuracy needs to be closer to like 80, 85. But even with an 80% accuracy, you can do this. Honest to God, in real life, not just like the infomercial is trying to sell you something or charge you $1,000 an hour for coaching or something like literally do this. Not just a pitch, but for real life. I wish I could say that in any way possible, but that's all you need is 60 trades.
No, I believe that. I believe that. Now, on this one, I know on the weekly, we stick to one column. On this one, we can go, do we stick with one column or we can go from aggressive to conservative on the trade, each trade?
So if you were asking me, let's see. Just got a crossover on TJ. So on this one, I would say you can kind of play around with it a little bit, but be mindful of that because your account is still going to only hold so many trades at a time. So like, for instance, if you have a set of rules, which you should have a very in-depth set of rules. So let's say you have 10 out of 10 confirmations. I mean, I would stick to maybe these 2, 1, 2, or these 2, 1, 2. But don't like go from a 50 pip lot size to an 11 pip lot size, because that will break the bank because it's just too big of a difference.
Okay.
But like, so let's say you're going to stick with these French 2 because you're kind of scalping, or these 2 because you're kind of going for the average in range. You can make a rule for yourself that says, hey, if I have 8 out of 10 confirmations, I'm going to go with a smaller lot size and I'm going to go for more pips. If I have 10 out of 10 confirmations, I'm going to go with the bigger lot size. But this is based off of how many pips you think you can get. So that's kind of up to you.
Right. Okay. Yeah, my AAFX, I don't know what happened to it today. It glitched, and I even rebooted it, deleted it, put it back on, contacted AAFX, and they couldn't help me. So I had to until I figure out what's going on. I'm going with you this way. So.
That's okay.
I don't know what happened. So, what's that?
I said that's totally okay. Like some brokers, I told you I had an issue with their trailing stop. I can't even begin to understand why or how or what logically made any sense because I don't know. But either way, like we all have those things. I don't think it's because it's super, super bad. I just think that sometimes life happens and internet happens and too many.
Yeah, it was very glitchy. Like it wouldn't even, I couldn't even click on anything. And it kept just like flashing in and out. And I don't like, there was literally like a glitch. And
what was your connection status? Do you know?
Oh, it was fine. It was fully connected. I mean, it wasn't like where I'm at now in the, you know, in the boonies and Wi-Fi. But when it happened, it wasn't working. I mean, it wasn't working then. When I got home, it still wasn't working. So I turned on the chat, and they said that something you compromised. So I was like, well, okay, so never mind. So I had to like redo all my indicators on the.
Well, technically, you can go to here, data full. Oh, you already deleted it, huh?
Well, it's still on there, but I can't even do that. I can't even click on my files. I can't do anything on the actual platform.
Okay, so when
That's why I was trying.
Here's what I've had to do. So close AFX, open it, and then don't go trying to click around for a few minutes. Instead of trying to click around, just give it time to open and think. And so that's what I learned to do with all of my brokers that I have open. So I only have 3 open on this VPS, as you guys can see. But like, don't go trying to click it. So open it and then let it think. Don't let anything else open in your computer. Let it update or do whatever it's got to do. And at bare minimum, then you can at least get all your templates and all of your indicators and just drag and drop them into your other broker. And you can log into whatever broker you want from whatever platform works best for your area, for your internet, for your situation. Because then look, you can just copy all of them. And that works pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's what like I was trying to do, and I was like, oh crap, I can't even get to the file folder. so I had to. I mean, I already downloaded them all on my huge way, so they're there. It's just, I got my chart set up. It's just it's just more time than I wanted, but I guess I had the time because I wasn't in any trades. So.
Well, awesome, small favors, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, that answers my question.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, I'm so glad I could help. I hope that you can get all those files over, because I've been on for a couple of hours now. So I'm going to go ahead and say good night for now and sweet dreams. I mean, be careful of all this super news. Only be looking for scalps. And we'll see you guys again next week. The market's going to kind of slow down a little bit for summer, but then we're going to pick it up and catch some massive pips here soon. So.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, hot one.
Hey, real quick before we get off, can you please show me in your market which ADX you have?
I don't have that. I only have, see, I still don't know where everything is. Go to trend. It's under average directional market.
Perfect. I see. Okay.
So take a picture.
Yep.
It's 10 close white. Colors are my biblical colors. Levels are 10, 25, and 40.
Okay. Can you go back to your colors real quick and parameters?
Mm-hmm. They're just colors. And my parameters.
Excellent. Thank you very much. That's you're more than helpful. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'm glad I could help. Okay, guys. Well, I am actually not going to leave that on my chart. I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to hop off now, and I'm going to go eat a white peach because it sounds amazing. It's summertime. And have an amazing night, sweet dreams, and all that jazz.
Okay.
Thanks, Jenny. Have a good night.
You too. Sweet dreams, guys.
Bye.